Have you ever asked yourself, what is the point of all this? You wake up, work, eat, sleep, repeat. The cycle never ends. Everything we do feels like a desperate attempt to distract ourselves from the fact that, in the grand scheme of the universe, none of it really matters. But before you sink into despair, let's take a deeper look at why everything is meaningless, and why that might just be the most liberating realization of all. Let's start with a harsh truth. The universe is 13.8 billion years old. Earth is a tiny speck in a vast cosmic void. We humans are nothing more than a blip in the grand timeline of existence. In a few billion years, the sun will expand, engulfing the planet. Long before that, everything you've ever done, everyone you've ever known, will be forgotten. This is not speculation. This is science. Carl Sagan once said, "We are like butterflies who flutter for a day and think it is forever." But if nothing we do lasts, then what's the point? Should we just stop trying? Should we stop caring? This is where we enter a philosophical debate that has existed for centuries. Nihilism presents a profound and often unsettling perspective on the human condition, arguing that there is no inherent meaning to life. This philosophical stance suggests that, in the grand scheme of existence, nothing truly matters. It challenges individuals to confront the void left by a lack of ultimate significance in their actions, relationships, and aspirations. However, in contrast to nihilism, existentialists like Jean-Paul Sartre contend that while the universe may be devoid of meaning, it is within our power, and indeed, it's our responsibility, to forge our own meaning and purpose to life. Sartre famously argued that existence precedes essence, implying that we are not defined by any preordained nature or external authority, but rather by the choices we make and the values we create for ourselves. On a related note, Absurdism, as articulated by thinkers like Albert Camus, navigates the delicate interplay between humanity's relentless pursuit of meaning and the indifferent cosmos that offers none. Camus introduces the concept of the absurd, which arises from the clash between our deep-seated craving for significance and the chaotic, irrational universe that provides no answers. He acknowledges that this search can feel fundamentally contradictory, as we yearn for resolution in a world steeped in uncertainty. Rather than succumbing to despair or nihilistic resignation, however, Camus advocates for a bold acceptance of the absurd. He suggests that it is not the presence of meaning, but rather the acknowledgement of the struggle that brings fulfillment in life. In his iconic essay, The Myth of Sisyphus, Camus concludes with the powerful assertion that the struggle itself is enough to fill a man's heart. One must imagine Sisyphus happy. This metaphor illustrates the notion that even as we confront the futility of our endeavors, we can find joy and purpose in the act of striving, in the very process of living. Given these contrasting philosophical viewpoints, we are left to ponder a profound question. Where does that leave us in our search for meaning? Should we embark on a journey of self-manufacturing, constructing our own purpose from the raw materials of our experiences and desires? Or should we simply accept the inherent meaninglessness that life presents and learn to move forward without the burden of hope for significance? The answer may not be straightforward, as it could vary greatly from one individual to another, deeply influenced by personal beliefs, experiences, and the quest for understanding in an often perplexing world. Ultimately, the choice we make in response to these existential dilemmas can shape not only our lives, but also the legacies we leave behind. In today's world, the feeling of meaninglessness is more intense than ever, permeating every aspect of our lives and weighing heavily on our collective psyche. With the rise of social media, we find ourselves flooded with constant images and narratives portraying an unattainable version of success. These curated snapshots often depict individuals living glamorously, achieving monumental goals, and experiencing exhilarating adventures, all of which serve to create an illusion that can make us feel thoroughly inadequate in comparison. This relentless comparison can warp our self-perception, leaving us questioning our worth and achievements, and fostering a persistent sense of discontent. Compounding this struggle are the traditional milestones of life like secure employment, home ownership, and family life that have increasingly become daunting dreams for many individuals. Economic fluctuations, skyrocketing housing prices, and job market volatility have created barriers that make these aspirations feel out of reach. For a significant portion of the population, the once clear pathways to success and fulfillment have been obscured, leading to a sense of stagnation and despair. Furthermore, the omnipresent shadows of climate change, political instability, and societal upheaval contribute to a backdrop of uncertainty where even the most stable aspects of life seem precarious. In this tumultuous environment, the more we seek purpose and validation in external accomplishments or possessions, the more disoriented and lost we may feel. In an attempt to counteract these feelings, many individuals turn to consumerism as a means of finding momentary happiness. The allure of acquiring the next big item, a dazzling new phone, a glamorous new relationship, or an exhilarating new experience, can feel intoxicating. Yet in many cases, the gratification derived from these pursuits is transient. The initial thrill often fades quickly, leaving us hungry for yet another fix to fill the void. This cycle of consumption can lead to a deeper sense of emptiness as we realize that material possessions are but temporary distractions from the greater search for meaning. Alternatively, some individuals seek solace and purpose through spiritual practices, artistic expression, or nurturing personal relationships. These avenues can provide profound fulfillment and a sense of belonging. However, what happens when those sources of comfort and inspiration falter? When your faith begins to waver under the weight of doubt, when your creative well runs dry, or when cherished relationships fracture or dissolve, the impending sense of loss can feel overwhelming, and the struggle to reclaim a sense of purpose can become an arduous journey. The cycle of searching for meaning, just to find it slipping away once more, perpetuates a feeling of hopelessness. As we grapple with these insecurities and the existential questions they provoke, it becomes increasingly vital to explore and understand the complex interplay between external pursuits and internal fulfillment. It's crucial to consider what truly nourishes our spirit and how we might break the cycle of seeking validation externally, and instead begin to cultivate deeper sources of meaning from within. Here's the truth. If life has no inherent meaning, then we are free to give it whatever meaning we choose. This notion opens up a vast universe of possibilities, allowing us to craft our own narratives and create significance in our otherwise fleeting existence. If nothing truly matters on a cosmic scale, then we must recognize that nothing should hinder us from pursuing what brings us joy and fulfillment. This perspective doesn't advocate for hedonism or reckless abandon. Rather, it calls for a profound shift in how we view our lives and the way we engage with the world around us. Instead of constantly seeking meaning in grand aspirations and monumental achievements, we can find it within the small, everyday experiences that often go unnoticed. Consider the simple yet profound warmth of sunlight cascading down on your skin, the comforting and infectious sound of laughter shared with friends, or the delightful taste of your favorite meal that brings back cherished memories. These seemingly mundane moments are, in fact, the building blocks of a meaningful life. The feeling you get when you help someone without expecting anything in return. This is the kind of warmth that washes over you, reminding you of the connection we all share. And I'm sure it can hold just as much value as any historic accomplishment. If nothing matters in the grand scheme, then why not take the time to fully enjoy and appreciate the little things that make existence feel bearable and even beautiful? This approach isn't about embracing blind optimism or succumbing to toxic positivity, which can often feel forced or dishonest. Instead, it underscores the importance of radical acceptance, in which we embrace the reality that life may lack an ultimate purpose. Acknowledging this truth can indeed be daunting, as it challenges deeply ingrained beliefs about success, fulfillment, and the meaning of life itself. However, it can also be an exhilarating release from the heavy burdens of expectation and societal pressure. You are not bound to anyone else's definition of what constitutes success or happiness. You are free to explore what resonates with you personally, whether that be pursuing a passion, cultivating relationships, or simply enjoying the moment. You don't need to achieve something great or make monumental contributions to the world to justify your existence. Simply being, with all your thoughts, emotions, and experiences, is not only enough, but is also a valid and essential part of the human experience. By embracing this mindset, we can create our own versions of meaning, aligning our actions with what truly matters to us. So take a moment to pause, reflect, and immerse yourself in the beauty of the present. Celebrate those small joys, express gratitude for the connections you cultivate, and allow yourself the freedom to live authentically. In the end, it is the richness of our experiences and the depth of our connections that truly give life its color and vibrancy. So yes, everything you do is meaningless, at least in the grand cosmic sense. But within the confines of your own life, within the relationships you build, within the experiences you create, meaning is yours to define. And that's what makes life worth living. So the next time you feel overwhelmed by the weight of existence, remember this: you are free. Free to live, free to love, free to simply be. And that perhaps is the most profound meaning of all. If this video resonated with you, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think life is meaningless? Or do we create our own purpose? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on philosophy, psychology, and self-discovery.